So, hi, and welcome to the Health Habits Coach Monday habit number 10. I'm really excited because this is the first Monday habit I'm attempting, sort of live video, and so hopefully it's all working out because many people in my community, you know, like to see the person talking, and it gives an extra dimension, especially with coaching. And so, but as you know, with Monday Habit, it's all about getting to the point, Claire, less of the chat. So, straight into the coaching. Today's topic, number 10, is about health span habits and how you can. I'm going to give you 5 incredible habits to help you ensure that you have the best health span you can possibly have. But first off, for many people, it's like, what are you talking about? Health span? What is that exactly? Because lifespan, we've heard of that. Yeah, lifespan, how long I live, average age. In the UK currently is around 84 for in a depends on your postcode, frankly, but around 84 for a woman and about 81.7 or something for a man. And so that's a lifespan, the age from birth to death. But there's really become a much bigger conversation around our age and aging process in recent years. And in my master's in health psychology, it became a really big sort of focus, really, and that's because health span. We'd put all our medical and sort of healthcare systems was focused on getting people to live longer, basically, for the last few decades, and every year it just kept getting older and older. Although actually, in the last 2 or 3 years, in both America and in Britain, it's now coming it's coming off a little bit, the averages. But the focus, they started to recognize that we can live for longer, but how much are we enjoying our lives and what kind of health do we have in our, say, 70s, in our 80s, in our 90s? And really starting to address that there's two different conversations there, and that maybe we shouldn't just put all the markers, all the emphasis on how long we live, but how good we feel and how healthy we feel as we age. And so health span is really about healthy aging, in effect. And yes, it is be about being, free from disease or free from as much sort of serious or chronic disease as possible. But it is also really truly about sort of the quality of life. And if as I learned in my master's, if you look at the World Health Organization's definition of health span, then it really comes down to this quality of life and these 4 key quadrants, right? If I'd got a cross, 4 key quadrants, and that is your physical health, sort of all those diet, nutrition, movement, sleep, that kind of stuff. And then there's your mental health, and those that type of, how well you feel, how happy you feel, and then there's your social health. Just how often are you getting out? What connections do you have? What support networks do you have? And then the fourth quadrant is your spiritual health, which is questions all around your sense of purpose, meaning. What you feel your life, the point of your life is all about. And the more you feel positive in that quadrant, the better your spiritual health. So it's not so much of a faith thing, in that sense. Anyway, so that's what how the World Health Organization kind of would get to the heart of your quality of life. And so and measure it. And then you get an actual score. You can go online and do the WHO QOL test. It'll take you about 25-30 minutes, but it's freely available. And then you'll get this score. And that'll tell you basically how happy and healthy you are, in essence, in a broad sense, and then you can use that score. And if you did it on your birthday every year, you'll know whether you're increasing your health span by increasing that score or whether it's going down each year, because actually your health, your experience of your health, is decreasing as you age. So that's a little tip there. But also, when we talk about age, the word age, how do we is that all that it's about? Just aging? How many years? My chronological age is how many years I've been alive from my birth to my death is your chronological age. you know. But what about, you may have heard of a biological age, and that's really started to come into this space around this healthy aging, around health, increasing your health span. And that's really about your functional capacity, based on different sort of biomarkers. So now we're starting to sound a little bit biohacking, aren't we? Indeed, we are, because this is really what biohackers are trying to hack into, is these biomarkers. And and sort of how old their cells actually are. Because we might have been on this earth 50 years, but if we've looked after ourselves, what, 60 years, 70 years? But the better our health habits, the more that we will have looked after the cells in our body, the more that our body, actually the cells won't have aged. They won't have had that oxidative stress. They won't have had as much inflammation, and so they're fresher and still got more in the tank, than other people's cells that have maybe smoked and drank heavily and eaten a lot of junk food and never do any exercise, and all these kinds of things would really affect those biomarkers. And there's a Dr. Horvath who designed, he's got the Horvath clock, which is based on 353 epigenetic markers. And there's this test you can also get done now that will give you a more physical kind of goal, approach to impacting your health span, through your habits, through your biohacking, as it were. And I believe there's tests in the States that you can do for about $300. Again, go look into it if you want to. That might be something of interest to you. But for today's episode, I'm the health habits coach, so I focus on your day in, day out lifestyle habits that you can do to improve your, health span, improve your quality of life. And basically, as a result, you'll be happier and healthier as you age. So here are my 5 top health habits to help you enjoy, be as you feel as young as possible by whatever marker you're using, and and enjoying your aging as much as possible. So the 5 health habits, starting with number 1, we've got strength. And this is like a bit of a paradigm shift. Can you, instead of focusing on calories and weight management, can we focus on muscle, being strong? Can we? Can we do this? Can we really get to the heart of what I want from my body? And that is strength as I age. That's what gives me the options to do whatever the heck I want with my day, is being able to be strong enough to go do whatever comes into this crazy mind of mine, sometimes. So it's really recognizing that building strength is really what it is, the foundation of healthy aging, in honesty, and like metabolic strength. So how do we build strength? We build muscle. But how do we build muscle? Well, yeah, exercising. And what else? We need that nutritional base as well. And we need some really, sort of dense nutritional foods regularly in our diets. So it's proteins and, sort of all the different healthy, my big 3, protein, fiber, healthy fats. Those are going to be the 3 core nutrients to base your meal choices around, so that you have a balanced diet, yes, but that you are making sure you get plenty of those 3 core nutrients to help build your muscles and then build your strength. So it could be like this: base, build a better you. Yeah. So the second health habit is sleep. As we age, yeah, for the health span, there's nothing like having regular, consistent circadian rhythms, cyclical sleep. As we learnt in last week's episode, with my guest expert, Dr. Catherine Darley, on the show, on the podcast, do listen to it if you haven't already. She's just an incredible, 25 years as a naturopathic sleep physician, one of only 2 in the world that has been in that space that long. And she's on PBS as an expert, so she really gave us some insight. And she talked about, during our sleep, if we cut our sleep a bit short and we only say get 6 hours when we normally have 8, then we might not get this growth hormone that's released. And the growth hormone is needed to repair. So you can imagine, we're aging, we're trying to reduce that cell damage. So we need to be able to do that repair process all the more as we age. So for health span, as Dr. Catherine would say, get your sleep. And also I've got on the podcast coming up in the next week, so you'll have to wait for that till next episode, is Dr. Sally. And Dr. Sally, her name's actually Dr. Sally Good, founder of Good Brain, Good Body, and Dr. Sally was on talking about, she's a published author, preventing dementia, and she spoke about how during our sleep we have these little cleaners with little brooms and things. I don't know, that's not a very broom-like thing, but anyway, we do. We have, trust me, we have little sweeper people that go around our little neuron cells and brains and stuff like that as we sleep, and do this amazing, incredible job of cleaning up all our pathways so they stay nice in ship shape. And as Dr. Sally says, that is one of the biggest risk factors for dementia, for cognitive decline, that you actually do have control and able to manage as a health habit. Okay, third health habit for healthy aging and your health span is your social network. Wow, all the research shows it really does. The number one, I mean this, the number one indicator of happy and healthier aging is a person's social network, social support system, social connections, social happiness. And that's why it is one whole quadrant of the World Health Organization's sort of definition of what health is and quality of life, because it is so important for human beings to be socially connected for optimizing health, especially as we age, because as we age, we tend to need a bit more help with things. And if we're not very connected and we don't have much of a network, then we tend to become more isolated. And obviously, as we age, the reality is that many of us lose friends. If we only have a couple of friends to begin with and we've cut off, we no longer work, we've retired, we've we no longer do the sports that we used to do, for example. So we've cut off this part of our social network and this part and this part. Most people who are currently in their 70s, 80s, 90s, most of them aren't fully engaged in an online way for their social friendships. Many do, but many more don't. And so it's recognizing that building out a social network that is big and it's wide and it's strong and it's connected, that is going to be the best health habit you can foster, and you'll have a great time while you're doing it. So definitely go for that. And I did see the repercussions of not having a social support network when I worked at the GP practice and medical local practice as in one-to-one patient support, and I was helping people with isolation, with loneliness. And I can't tell you, day in, day out, my job was to help support people in their 70s, 80s, 90s predominantly. And the universal thing was that they really, really wanted to just be able to do what they wanted to do with their day. And so that's why, sort of being able to have your health, keep it up, have that sense of network, it really, really makes all the difference to every single one of us as we age. So going on to number 4, nicely, this is a great segue, because what I'm really talking about is being a health boss. Yeah, you are CEO of your own health. And I coach this all the time to my groups, because most of my groups are a little bit before that age of that sort of post-retirement. They're leading up to it or just retired. So their 50s, 60s is the most common age bracket in my coaching community. And so I really take the learning from that medical practice days of older, more senior patients and their experiences and what has led to their outcomes in terms of the health span, and try and apply it in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So, yeah, do recognize that being a health boss is like being a CEO of a company, except the company is your body and your brain and your gut. And what can I do? What are my choices? What's my decision making like? Am I thinking of comfort today and having a nice, cushy lunch that I'll call a business lunch? Or am I doing the hard yards because I want my business to thrive going forwards. And I'm going to be strategic about what I give my resources to, my time, my energy, my money, because I am CEO and I'm going to invest those core resources in my health because I recognize that health is your first wealth. Okay. And then number 5, little, often, the mantra of the health habits coach, aka me. And that's because all the jobs I've had, from being a mom to helping people in their 90s, all of them, I recognized that what we end up having in our world, for good or for bad, is almost always a result of a compounding nature. And especially as we age, it's about my habits over the previous years and decades that have led me to where I am now. Or as Oprah Winfrey would say, it's the breadcrumb trail. You know, if I want to know, how come I'm here? How did I get here? I just look at the breadcrumb trail that led me to here. And Oprah Winfrey is absolutely spot on. She always is, let's face it. But she's absolutely spot on because she's really identifying that each and every decision you make, every meal you have, every time you go to the gym or don't go for that walk, every time that you say turn off the Netflix early so that you can get to bed a bit sooner. All of these different health habits, the little, often, it really adds up. And in the end, it does lead you to what you get from, certainly from a health span and a quality of life point of view. So do remember, the tortoise does win the race, though. So as we age, we might be a little bit slower in some ways, but we are smarter and we are more capable of becoming more strategic as we age because we know ourselves. We are the experts, we're the CEO, and we're going to be smart and strategic. And by that, I mean, we're going to, sort of recognize that doing something, a little, but doing something each day is always going to be better than not doing anything at all. I wish you all the best. I hope you have a good one with this. There's some really good habits in there for healthy aging. And no matter what age you are, do remember that I do talk about your building your health pension. That's what I stand for, to be honest. That's what I hope the health habits coach will become in the years to come, is a place that you consider as your health pension. Just like you have a financial pension and you invest into that with money for the long term, you're going to invest your daily health habits for your own health pension so that you just enjoy your aging as much as any other wonderful phase of this human life. Until the next episode, I wish you all the best, get into action, and do stay really healthy.